just doing some research. This is actually the 4th payment, I think, that I've made so far. So, get that out of the way. Check the footage on this. In 1 second. I see. It's got a little slot thing right here. There we go. Slots in there. Alright, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. 208,777 miles on the odometer. It's March 1st of 2024, and that is, I think, my 4th child support payment. It's been hard out there, you know. You just, when you lose a job, and I lost a job at the bank about 4 years ago, you don't just find a job just like that. It takes some time. But once I found it, then I was able to make the payments that they desire. But, I was watching about screenplay format and also character. There's a circle that they do for short films. And they don't always go by the 3-act structure, but they go through like a character thing. It's like first you establish the character and then his wants, or his or her wants. And then you move on to, there's some type of thing that gets in the way, and then there's like I think that the character starts off in what they call a zone of comfort. And then something comes in and it causes friction in their life. And there's also a want and an obstacle. And I'm kind of mixing this a little with Uta Hagen's 6 Steps, if you know who the acting teacher is, Uta Hagen. But regardless, that circle, whatever they call it, has a name, and they have a writer, I guess, or a philosopher invented it. And eventually what ends up happening is having changed is the last little segment that they put up there. The character, finally, there's a moment of hesitation or something, then they realize something, they overcome it, and then there's change, There's finally change, that kind of thing. But anyway, I'm going to study that circle probably a little more because I keep coming across a few of the same things. And this is different than the 3-act structure. And they say the circle thing can also work for a feature, but it works very well for a short because you don't always have a chance to have a first, a second, and third act. Or, you got the exposition, you got the rising action, you got the climax, then you got the resolution, and then you got the denouement. You don't always have that for a short film. But you do have character. And there was one called The Stutterer, which I believe won an Oscar or something. I don't know for sure what award it won, but it won something. It won some recognition. I think it looked like the guy that made it was holding an Oscar, but I saw some of it. The color code wasn't fancy and everything. It was mostly story. It wasn't like anything. They weren't look like they were trying to really impress. It looked like it was made with like a home video camera or something. But it went all the way, to the big awards. I don't know for sure. I have to do a research on it. This stuff I just see. I just like kind of see it and I kind of look at it. But there's some interesting aspects to storytelling that have kind of changed over time. And sometimes that's because of style. Style changes over time. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I'll get back to it later. There'll be more explanation about it, more in-depth things. Welcome to the Please Subscribe Show, Cole Spivey's channel. One thing I kind of hate about life, of course, if you have a single person out there that desires your failure, I think you kind of sense it. Maybe it's my imagination. I have a strong imagination. That's kind of why I got into acting and everything. Because power shifts, Power definitely shifts. It shifts location. Butterfly in the Garden, March 1st, already here, April 14th. Dinosaurs around the world. You can't really see the sign, but they're there. The dinosaurs are there. and they're robotic, supposedly, and they're inside the garden somewhere. You can walk around and see them. All these signs right here talk about it going all the way to May 30th. So I don't know the pricing on it. I don't know if it's any good. I haven't seen any vlogs. Haven't heard anything about it. Nothing's jumped up. There's probably a dinosaur around the world coming to you in your local botanic garden if you have one. But it's supposed to be in there. They don't have, they should like put them out front or something. Really get a big crowd coming. And it also be coming up here on Casa. All right, so Once is coming March 2nd through the 10th, and then Mary Poppins Jr. April 20th through May 12th. It's coming to Casa Mignana right there. Okay, this is 3 parts, 5:30, 4 minutes, 2.2. You're all the way from Louisiana. These are kind of weird ones right here. What in the world? I have no idea. Oh, it's oh, wait a minute, I know about this one. It's got to spin around. I don't know if it'll do it though. I can see, let's take a guess. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. They got the house that looks like that Cloverfield Lane thing. All right, next one, 5:42, 4 minutes, 1.7 miles. All right, looks like we get to pass by the butterfly. Next one will be 5:55, 3 minutes, 1 mile. You know, this one has the horrible dog, but he's just like, ferocious. This little dog thing. Trust me, it's not a lap dog. I think it's ferocious. Guess there's no more doggy. Sad though. Sounded like such a ferocious dog. switched it over to the inside Llewyn Davis soundtrack. I need to go rewatch that. There's a lot of cat action in it. I like films with cats in them. Looks like it might be a pretty good one. $633.12, 3.7. All right, looks like the Flying Fish has Gulf oysters every Sunday, $1.50 all day. You get the burger, frog legs, crab, oysters, shrimp, and grilled fish. Flying Fish. Well, looks like sliced pizza didn't make it. Man, it's pretty good pizza too. So they were. Third part of the series right here. $7:09, 2 minutes, 0.3 miles. Looks like someone just kind of has like a purple tree in their yard. I don't think it's any kind of holiday or anything. Maybe they're frog fans. Next one, 7:23, 8 minutes. Looks like it's 2.8 miles. All right, let's go ahead and do our review. Looks like 25 miles, 76. So I probably used way less than that. It's over the last 2 days. So far today, probably about, I'd say maybe about 15 miles of that. So not all of it. I'd say probably about 15 of that for right now. All right, gives you kind of an idea. All right, this is the White Settlement Bridge that they've worked on. I've got a neighboring bridge, I'll try to show that one too, that they've also advanced. And there is the skyline of Fort Worth, Texas. I don't know if there's another Fort Worth. There might be. I think there might be, but this is the Fort Worth that's in Texas. It's a famous one. Right, and you can see underneath the bridges there, they have lighting there. This is all new stuff in the roundabout. I think this is fairly new. They put artwork, you know, around this roundabout. That one was just shrubbery. And I don't know what this is. It looks like to me like a spring mine in a Call of Duty game. But it's hard to see at night. They don't light it up at night. You only can see it during the daytime. I have no idea what it is. We'll be headed right into the heart of downtown. So Fort Worth has many different rumors on how it started. It was kind of up high. It looked down on the Trinity. This is the Trinity River right here. And that's how it started. It looked down on the Trinity River, if I'm not mistaken. I think maybe the Brazos might have been involved to a certain extent. and it just was a fort. You know, you could come in and bring your mule and cattle or your horse, and you know, keep away from the Indians. The Native Americans were also inside the fort too. They'd trade and stuff, but if you got too far out from the fort, then they, you know, pretty much kill you, depending on if you're in their territory. They didn't always kill you, but usually they did back in the day. Well, that was what's in the history books. We don't know for sure. They're probably just trying to defend their land is really what they were doing. But we started a fort here, so if there was any kind of problem, you know, we had a fence that went around it. Gate. There's the Bank One, old Bank One building right there. We might be doing the vlog in the morning time. I'll have to talk to Linda. Possibly Monday morning. I have to figure out the morning. It's gonna be a morning time vlog. It's kind of a tour of Fort Worth, but it mostly focuses on the old banks of Fort Worth. So I don't know. It could be interesting because Sundance. I mean, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid probably hit a few of them. But it probably has some of that history in there. I don't know. It's some kind of free tour, and if we make it, then you'll see it. That's what we plan. It's in the morning time, and I'm kind of weird about mornings, but this is known as Fort Liquor. I don't really recommend it, but I've got one there. I guess they probably had that there for. Oh yeah, these are nice too. These are nice little. Yeah, there's something right there. It's gonna be the other way. All right, next one, 753, 5 minutes, 1.6. This is a three-parter. Well, this one's called Old Ye Bush, or Bull and Bush. It's a little pub. Next one's 806, 8, 5.6. So, Blood Simple, there's a lot of rumors on what Emmett Wash was paid, but there was a time he was paid $700 in cash on the set. I heard $100 a day after that, and then the other day I heard another interview where it was $700 a day in cash. So I don't know the rumor, but then the other rumor was that he got 1% of the revenue of the film. So if it made $10 million, then he would have got $10,000. I don't know. I'm gonna look up on the box office on Blood Simple. So it looked like he made about $3 grand off of it. 2.7 million was the box office of Blood Simple. So that, I don't know if they were counting that as a revenue or overall revenue. I don't know what it's made so far. So it made about $3 grand off of it, plus the $700 for showing up. And I don't know if they did $100 a day or not, or if they did $700 a day. Depending on how long they filmed it for. I don't know if they spent more than a month on that one. I don't know. It could have been a few months. I really don't know. On follow-ups and stuff. But let's just say they filmed the whole thing in 2 months. Well, that's, you know, a pretty good chunk of change if it was $700 a day. If not, then they probably pay about $6,000 for being there, $2,000 after the revenue. You might have got $10,000 or $20,000 just for doing it. But he gets more now, I'll tell you that. So even though he got not a whole lot starting off, just for meeting them, he met a gold mine for meeting them. Now, if you're into Tubi television, they are showing Broadway Danny Rose. You do have to watch the commercials, if you know. But it's a good one. It's very funny. There's this funny scene where Woody Allen comes in as Danny Rose. Well, he's having some kind of party or something. And at the table is a parakeet. He's got it dressed up, looks like a person. He's like this theatrical manager that handles all this different talent throughout New York City, you know, from Broadway to some lady playing glass. these little glass things. It's really funny. It goes on for a very long time. He gets wrapped up in this, like, you just have to watch it. He's like running for his life, and Mia Farrow's actually in it. It's very funny because she's playing like this Italian lady with this like huge sunglasses, and they're running around different weird areas of New York City, like the back alleys of New York City, or kind of like the back fields of New York City. And you know, it goes on for quite a bit of time, but the music he uses, and of course the cinematography and the spectacle is amazing. It makes the city look real. You know, I don't know if he shot during, you know, when the city just wasn't looking, but that was some very choreographed extra work in Broadway Danny Rose. It looks very real. I gotta find this place. Okay, I missed it right there. Yeah, their dogs, man, it sounded like they just moved in, so it was like echoing. So like almost like banging on cymbals or something. It was very strange. Yeah, but it's funny though. The thing about Woody Allen, especially Broadway Danny Rose and other comedies, is it's a series of jokes. It's just one joke after the next, but it's done with dialogue and scenes, you know. So the joke somehow finds its way into the circumstance, or at least into his dialogue. He's usually playing a writer or a comedian or someone that would tell a joke. But then a lot of times he kind of makes it serious, so it's funny, because it's just a whole long list of them. But Broadway Danny Rose, there are a bunch of comedians sitting around at a cafe or delicatessen. It's where it begins and ends. It's an ABA. You know, it starts with A, goes to B, then goes back to A at the end. Kind of circles back to the delicatessen. They're all kind of telling the stories of Broadway Danny Rose. You know, they're telling the narration almost in a way. And they're like, hey, did you hear about this? You know, one time, and then you'll never believe this, you know, and then they're like telling the stories of his, you know, and then you see it playing out. It's, you know, and then also, of course, the love interest is very funny, and she's very Italian, and it's got that kind of aspect. He's trying to make the singer famous in Vegas, and if I'm not mistaken, there's a few people in it. Merle, whatever his name is, Merle something. I can't think of his name. Merle, I know his name is Merle, but he's in it, and he was famous at the time. He plays kind of like a Johnny Carson type of character that runs a show in Vegas. You know, like a talk show kind of guy or something similar. And he's going to give this singer a shot. And he sings kind of like Frank Sinatra, you know. But he's more of kind of like a chubby version of him, kind of, in a way. It's kind of like a New York hometown singer, you know. Starts a song off with, last night I saw your eyes and he's doing that kind of thing. You know, you just got to see it. And he's at a restaurant, and he's always there with a joke, and, well, it's some kind of humor, circumstantial humor, you know. He's always in a weird situation. He's always being chased by some powerful people that are trying to kind of kill him. And it's the funniest thing about the movie, though. One of the funny things, I think he was married to Mia Farrow at the time, I think. But anyway, they get both of them, and, you know, he's kind of like a rat, but they tie him together on this table, you know, missionary style. And they're tied together with this rope, and, you know, he knows everything about Broadway and magicians and, you know, I guess magic or whatever, you know, at this moment. And one of his clients, who happens to be a magician, knows how to get out of ropes, and you have to wriggle your way out, you know, is what the term that he uses. And so, you know, they start wriggling, you know, they start kind of basically wiggling. I think he used the word wriggle. And it's very funny. And then they finally get out and they start running, and just one of those things, you know. Very simple kind of stuff. But I always like Stardust Memories, but I do like Broadway Dating Rose. I could probably rewatch it. Woody Allen's are the ones you can like rewatch, you know. We're headed to the same place, so these people love this restaurant. They eat there like 2 times a day and stuff. They took down the Christmas decorations.